Okay, so here's the video for y'all. If you have a KTM 65 that will not start and you've tried everything, maybe it's the electrical. And here's what happened to us, and here's how I diagnosed it, and then you can use this for your benefit. So we had a 2020 KTM 65 that we were riding along a trail and it stopped working. Now, one unique thing is one second here, I'll show you the ignition coil bracket broke, okay? It had already a broken tab. I had just rebuilt it. I saw one broken tab and I kind of gave it like a redundant ground. Excuse the poor camera work while we get this tank off. Okay. So you can see here that the bracket that secures the coil to the bike and grounds the whole circuit is broken, and it broke officially. So we ran out of gas is what I initially thought. We were low on our tank. It seemed like a gas issue. It just kind of bogged to a die and then would not restart after we refilled it. I found this coil broken. I thought, okay, it's the ground. We'll move on. We'll fix that. And well, before I get this welded up, I went ahead and provided a ground through just a wire that I secured to the grounding tabs. I gave it 2 just to make sure it had enough current that could flow. Oh, that one fell off. And the bike still would not start. So then I started testing the electrical because I knew that even though when we weld this, it wasn't going to start. So here is this is your kill switch. Okay, I tested that. I made sure it operated with the button. I had an ohms meter here, and you can see the ohms change when you push the button, probing on the female side of this butt plug. Okay, and then I tested the ignition coil, cap to coil. So you take your meter leads, put it on ohms, which is the horseshoe symbol, and then you put one of them. Let me get you some. Sorry for the poor camera work here, but all right. So here we go. I'm gonna show you in just 1 second. Once I get my hands free with this test. All right, let's see. All right, so out of camera here, I have the one probe touching the terminal cap, and then you'll touch the ground of the. Let's see if you can see it. Oh my gosh, back it out some. All right, here we go. You can see the ground of the ignition coil here, where that orange bracket is. You touch that, basically that bolt area. The back of the bolt you've seen in this picture here. Okay, and that's your measurement, and you sit there and hold it till it gets steady. Okay, and then my measurement is, and I wish I could show you it, 11 kilo ohms. This is so fancy, can't work. Okay, my measurement on that coil cap to ground come on thing, trying to get y'all reading just so you can have it to verify for your own bikes. Yeesh. 11.19 kilo ohms. You see that? Okay, so is that good or bad? I don't know. I can't find a spec, but guess what? It is good. I have a comparison bike, and it's very close to that. It's within a couple tenths of that reading. So this is at room temp, by the way. You got to do all your readings at cold temperature. So the next test is, what about the stator? Did it burn up the stator? Maybe when it was having a bad ground, it started to overheat the stator. So I actually pulled the stator off to get a better look at it. It was not melted, obviously, but I did do my ohms testing there too. And so you have 4 wires that come off the stator. You have the red and blue, which are your actual windings all together, and then you have your pickup, which is the green, white stripe, and white with a red stripe. Okay, they're smaller diameter wires. So checking those, and you can see some odd, it looks like it overheated, did not look too healthy there. So I was worried about it. But I'll show you on this one. Unplugged it. Got my red, my blue. And I ohms tested those two pins together. And I got like 18 ohms, I think it was. Let's get this thing in view. Oh man. This side's harder to do. Forgive me for the bad camera work, but this is going to help you so much if you have a bike that will not start. So red, all we're doing is front probing with the ohms meter, voltmeter. Golly. Sorry guys. Goodness gracious. Try again. Alright, let's try this like this. Can hold it all in one hand maybe. I'm in the ohm setting, the horseshoe symbol on my meter. I'm going on the connector side of the stator, pin to pin, red to blue, and boom, 18 ohms. Okay, again, that's the red and blue wires, 18 ohms on your stator. That's a good reading. Okay, your pickup, just for reference, is about 103. There's your pickup, 102.8. That's this guy right here, the pickup. The green and white stripe and the white with red stripe. Okay, that's all my readings. And I didn't know if they were good or bad. It seemed like they were maybe bad, especially the 18 ohms. I don't know, I expected more. I also tested, for example, and it's a good test to do, is it shorted to ground? I took my red or blue, didn't matter, and I put my probe on just a chassis ground, and I still have OL, which means I do not have continuity to ground from the coil windings. Okay, so that's another check you need to do. But with that said, and I might have missed some of that, I was holding it with my chin, but 18 ohms, red to blue, that's through all the windings, 103 ohms on the pickup, 11.3 kilo ohms on the coil from the cap to the ground of the coil. Okay, and I made sure that my kill switch was not engaged. You should be OL on that unless you push the button, and then you'll see some ohms. So then what's left is the CDI box. Here's our CDI box. Okay, and I had access to a known good bike here. Good running bike, 2015 KTM, by the way. So 2020 here, 2015, same electronics. So what I did is I unplugged, and I'll demonstrate for you. That's our CDI box on the 2020, and I'm gonna put my cap back on. Okay. Decent fit on the cap, did not snap, but it went on. Okay, and then I'm gonna connect my stator, and all of this electronics goes to the CDI box and then to the spark, so you got to take that into factor here. Alright, got that plugged in. So stator's plugged in, coil's on. I got my ground supplied through the jumper wires. Okay, and I actually do have some fuel in here. I dropped a little fuel. I know the tank's off, but I dropped some into the bowl and then took the tank back off. Okay, so then you'll notice it does not start. Okay, now, and this is probably the only way I know how to test a CDI box, is to swap it. clicked into the CDI box from the 15 that I know runs. Got all my funky wiring up here, supply and ground. Everything works. So what I know now, probably because the coil bracket broke and it overheated, there's probably a transformer in here. So the stator supplying voltage here, it's stepping it up to the coil, most likely, something like that. I'm not sure 100%, but it burned the box. We had a good CDI box, and then it broke right about the time we broke the coil bracket. So with that said, that is how you're going to diagnose the electrical circuit on your KTMs. That's 103 on the pickup, 18 pin to pin on the stator, rated blue wire, and about 11.3 kilo ohms from the cap to chassis ground on your coil. Those are your tests, and always remember to check your kill switch. Make sure it's not accidentally stuck on. That's how you're going to fix a no start on a KTM 65 that you've done everything else to it. Maybe it's your electrical. Okay, just to continue the results a little bit more here, some CDI box testing. There are 7 pins total in this box. This one is our known good. This is our bad one. And the 7 pins that are used is the far left, right here, on the top and bottom. And then there's 3 up top here. And then there's 2 right here, I believe. Okay, so this one looks like the ground, so by the color it looks like a gray wire. So comparing these measurements from this ground wire here to this top right pin, this again, that's this far bottom left pin locating from the locking tab, far bottom left pin to the top right pin. There's a huge difference in my readings. Okay, so I have on this one I have somewhere. So let's see if I can do it again. Like 26 mega ohms, I think. And then on the bad one,